here with Scotty and Tiffany Smiley, and he is, you may have seen him in his book, it was Captain Smiley, and now he is Major retired. So I always want to get that right. Good to have you guys back with us.
Oh, thanks, Randy.
Well, I guess we should probably cover a little bit of the basics, a little bit of your story and the hardship that you guys have gone through.
So I graduated from the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York, married my beautiful high school sweetheart, and upon getting to my first duty station, received orders to deploy for a year deployment to Iraq. And on April 6, 2005, came face to face with the suicide car bomb. Again, the rules of engagement, you couldn't interact unless you knew it was a weapon, and so I surrounded him and yelled at him to get out of his vehicle, and the man raised his hands up in the air, shook his head no. I responded again by yelling at him, and then he responded in the same manner and then let his foot off the brake, and that's when I shot approximately 2 rounds in front of his vehicle, and then shrapnel went in my eyes, blinded me for the rest of my life. So woke up about a week later in Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and that's when my life really changed and really began.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember from last time, you had a real hard time coming out of that, to the point of not really wanting to live. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a, it was such a dark time, because here it's like, we believed in God, and even me, I was praying like God would protect Scotty, and then here you're in this broken situation where you're going, okay, God, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
And Scotty was very hopeless and very dark, and it just seemed to sort of spiral and just get worse.
Yeah.
And he began to question God. He began to wonder, do I even believe in God anymore? And I remember his friend walked in and sort of just asked, like, Scotty, do you want to say a prayer? And Scotty said, no, I don't. I don't even, know who God is anymore. And it was in that moment that the Lord sort of revealed to me, about what I need to be praying for. And it wasn't necessarily his eyes anymore,
right.
But it was his heart. And it was revealed to me that, it doesn't matter. God doesn't say that you have to have eyes or you have to be this certain type of person to be used by him,
Yeah.
And so I just started praying for his heart, and that he would make him whole again, and not physically whole, but spiritually whole.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotty, God began to work in his life through different people who would come to visit, and that's what I love. It's that, God gives us each other to encourage and speak truth into each other's lives in those dark, awful moments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Scotty began to take the steps forward, to take the steps towards light, and towards God, and welcoming him back in his life again.
Yeah. All of that recounted in your book, Hope Unseen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's available. Tell us, what's the adventure you like to talk about?
My wife is amazing, lets me conduct a lot of extracurricular activities. So I attempted Mount Denali a few years ago. Unfortunately, was not able to summit, but just amazing time with fellow believers, and just talk about a struggle to climb one of the highest peaks in the world. But the last adventure I did was I completed the Coeur d'Alene Ironman. So a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bicycle ride, and then a little 26.2 mile jaunt through the streets. So, and that's again just a year of training with my brother-in-law. My wife enabled me to take the time, dedicate, for the sport. But for me, it was it's like the run of life. There's so many times I wanted to give up. So many times my partner wanted to give up, but it was that faith that the finish line is right around the bend. It's when we're struggling, being lifted up by your partner, being lifted up and just encouraged by the crowd, just cheering you on, really enabled us to put one foot in front of the other. And crossing that finish line was a great feeling.
Out of all this, you also found out that God has uniquely positioned you, not just given you hope and restored purpose and all that, but given you a ministry.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It's amazing. Just, when you're struggling, when you're questioning life, questioning your purpose. Tiffany in the hospital would say, Scotty, you're going to be a public speaker someday. I'm like, I don't like speaking. She goes, you're probably going to write a book. I was like, I don't like writing. You're probably going to be a teacher. And it's all the things that God enabled me to do. Get a master's, become a teacher at the military academy, be a public speaker, write a book. But through that, my testimony was an amazing healing process for me. To tell my story, to heal. Every time I speak and share, I heal. But I also found out quickly that I help others heal. To bring life, to bring faith to others, helps them in such an amazing way and fashion that it's a true calling. So both Tiffany and I share our stories on Hope Unseen, and Tiffany is opening up a woman's ministry just to share stories by faith with fellow women to teach them about using your faith and being who God made them to be. So it's amazing to see what God's using us.
Tiffany, do you find that a lot of military wives who their husbands may or may not have come home with some damage, if not physical, a lot of it's psychological? I mean, do you find that a lot of them look to you for a source of strength and hope? And
I'm always happy to contribute and do what I can for the military community. It's a very tight-knit community.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a community that's endured a lot. And what we experience and what we face, it's like non-relenting, right? It's not going away. So anytime I have a chance to pour into those women, I do. And I pray that my testimony, my story is an encouragement,
I'm sure.
To what God can do with broken things and difficult situations, that He can, He makes beauty out of ashes, and that's available for all of us to walk that path with God.
What do you hope for the future? What's your vision, if I can use that word, right?
Yes, I love the word vision, because I feel like, sight was taken from Scotty, and in some sense it was taken from me as well. But God's given us a vision, and I think the future is just to continue to share our story and to go into the places that God tells us to go to. Whether that's in our political world or our corporate world, wherever that is, our country is seeking, and our country is looking for God.
Yeah, this world's calling for God, and my goal is just to positively impact someone's life every day. And if God's going to use us as a vessel, then we're more than happy to share our story.
'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that